Good morning, everyone. At the time of this recording, the NGS headline wave has just ended, so we're going to be covering the TLDR as the live stream was a little bit long. Now, luckily on the global side, they did cut down quite a lot of fat. On the JP side, the live stream was literally like 3 hours long, but with the help of the global team editing and the voiceovers and everything, they did cut it down to like 40 minutes-ish. But nevertheless, I'm going to cut that down even more to about like 10 minutes. I'm going to aim for 10 minutes. Hopefully, Editor Caro will be able to manage that. Alright, so the very first thing I need to talk about is, of course, the new equipment. For those who actually watched the JP NGS headline, you guys probably knew about this already, but we are getting two new weapons. The first one is the Zenith weapon series, which is an evolution of the Crest weapons. So if you have an existing Crest weapon, you will be able to evolve it to the Zenith weapons, and this is gonna be the new best in slot weapon. Now, do not panic if you don't have a Crest weapon. You don't need to go out of your way to immediately buy one, but you could if you want to. Because if you don't have a Crest weapon, you'll be able to obtain these Crest cubes, but they will be rare. Now, in order to obtain these Crest cubes, you will be farming in the new Ultra Realm PSE combat sectors, which you're going to be farming anyway because you're going to need them in order to get your Juvlog Volt 2s to upgrade your current Volgan weapons into the second new weapon, which is the Iden weapons. So again, you've got two new weapon series, the Zenith weapon series, and then the Iden weapon series. For 95% of you guys, stick with the Iden weapon series. You basically have your Volgan weapons. Hopefully most of you guys have that already. Then you're just going to farm in the Ultra Realm combat sectors. You're going to get all the Juvlog Volt 2s, and then you're going to evolve your Volgan weapons into the Iden weapons. Now, the reason why I say 95% of you guys should stick with the Iden weapon series is simply because you can transfer all of your augments from the Iden weapon series to any other weapon that you want, including future weapons that come out 14 stars, 15 stars, whatever. You'll be able to transfer them without using an augment transfer pass. So at the moment, I know a lot of you guys are really struggling with those augment transfer passes because in order to get those, you have to be fairly consistent playing NGS basically every single day and participating in all their different campaigns and events in order to get the vouchers, which you need 100 vouchers to make one single transfer pass. And yeah, it's very tedious and it's very annoying to get these transfer passes. And that's why being able to just transfer your augments hassle-free without using any of those passes is a godsend for a lot of players out there. Now, if you're a veteran or if you're a true min-maxer and all you care about is doing maximum amount of damage, then yes, you do want to aim for the Zenith weapon series. But if you don't have a Crest weapon and you're not comfortable investing into a Crest weapon series right now because you're using a Volgan weapon and you're like happy with that for whatever reason, it's perfectly fine because again, you will be able to make these Crest AT weapon series, which is again untradeable, but you can get it through the exchange shop with Crest cubes. Now, you obtain Crest cubes also in the Ultra Realm, but they are going to be rare. I believe you're going to need 10 of these Crest cubes to make one of these AT weapons, and then you're going to need even more Crest cubes to upgrade your Crest weapons into the Zenith weapon series. So yeah, you're basically delaying the process if you do decide to go with the AT weapon series. If you have a little bit more money to spend and you just want to get these Zenith weapons immediately because you're like, I need a min-max right now or as fast as possible, it might not be a bad idea to drop, 10, 20 million Meseta on buying a Crest weapon now so that you can save these Crest cubes because, again, the drop rate of these Crest cubes are going to be relatively rare. For my investors out there, it might not be a bad idea to buy a couple Crest weapons and see how the market plays out. If the Crest cube drop rate is really, really bad, who knows? These Crest weapons might actually go up in price. Just some food for thought. Now you've heard me talk about the Ultra Realm so much, so what exactly is this new Ultra Realm exploration update? It's basically what we wanted in a combat zone 4 years ago. For my OG NGS players out there, or even my base game players, when we came into NGS, or when this game was introduced to us, we all complained about one singular thing about combat zones, and that was the stupid PSE gauge going up and down, up and down, up and down. It was infuriating. And It took Sega 4 years to implement it, so now the PSE gauge does not go down. It can only go up, which is absolutely amazing. Now, they did change something in this system, and it only applies to this Ultra Realm Exploration PSE combat zone. It doesn't apply to all the previous combat zones that we've had before. But the thing that they implemented about this combat zone specifically is there are no storms. So remember when, you know, sometimes you get a storm, you get a sandstorm or a rainstorm or a thunderstorm or a firestorm or a blizzard, all of these different storms. Unfortunately, that does not happen in the Ultra Realm, but the Aina and Manon trials still exist. So if you do get the Aina and Manon trial, that means it's a guaranteed instant PSE burst right after you complete the trial. But other than that, you have to fill up the gauge manually 1 bar at a time before a PSE burst happens. But on the bright side, the bar will never go down. So honestly, I will very gladly take this change because we've been complaining about it for 4 freaking years. Now, another thing about this exploration zone is it's literally just like a combat sector, so it is maximum 8 players, which means, well, you know, only 8 people can join. Now, is there all ship matchmaking? I don't know. They didn't talk about it at all during the live stream. We're gonna need to see on September 3rd when this kicks in, and hopefully there's all ship matchmaking. I would like to see all ship matchmaking, but I wouldn't really hold my breath because I don't think there's been a combat zone that has had all ship matchmaking. And the regular Ultra Realm doesn't have all ship matchmaking either for whatever reason. So I'm not holding my breath, but I would definitely like to see all ship matchmaking for this. Now, other than that, there are also some special missions that can happen in this combat zone. Think of it like Nuisance Plant, where there were like some special mechanics, except in this case, there's just these special trials. When you clear them, they will give you buffs. For example, one of the buffs is it lowers the cooldown time for your Photon Blast from 2 minutes down to 30 seconds, so you can PB a lot more often. So if you have certain gear, Vulcan weapon for example, you'll be able to PB a lot more because you literally charge up your PB gauge really quickly. So that's definitely pretty nice. And then there's another buff that increases your technique as well as photon art damage, which is also really OP. So you definitely want to take advantage of all those extra missions, or they call them the EX missions, as well as special trials in order to gain all the little buffs. Now, keep in mind that all of those buffs go away after a PSE burst ends. So basically the cycle is you run around, you clear all the different trials. If a special trial or an EX trial spawns, you clear that first. You get all the special buffs, and then you go to the PSE burst, you kill everything really quickly, and then you get reset and you gotta do it all over again. So that's kind of the gameplay loop. But you're going to be doing this a lot, and it's because of all the weapons, right? All the loot. This is the place where you farm for all your Juvlog Volt 2s, as well as the Crest Cubes, which you're going to need in order to make the new weapons. Now, other than that, there is also a new limited time urgent quest, which is the Resonant Twin Shadows Shake the Wetlands. This really sucks in my personal opinion because it is one of those urgent quests where you have to kill both of the bosses at the same time, and there's 2 different bosses. But on top of that, these bosses have harmonizers on them, which is the little butt plug stuck in them that gives them, like, you know, reduced damage. But then on top of that is one of the bosses is Griffin, which I already hate, and the second boss is Rune Angel, which is okay. I don't mind Rune Angel, but Griffin has this stupid ability where if it gets down to a specific amount of HP, it will multiply itself. So yeah, instead of just focusing on 2 separate bosses, you might end up fighting like 4 bosses. So that kind of sucks. It's gonna be a nightmare, but hey, it's a limited time urgent quest. I'm sure it won't be that bad, right? And the last piece of content is, of course, Leciel Exploration. They're getting an update as well. Now, I know a lot of people are rolling their eyes going like, oh my god, this is like the 3rd iteration of Leciel Exploration. What could they possibly make that is new? And it's basically they're adding that cannon that we have in Ultra Realm. Remember in Ultra Realm, when you pick up the cannon, you have unlimited dashing around ability because it didn't consume your PP bar. That cannon is going to be available in Leciel Exploration, so that is pretty awesome. And yeah, they're adding different bosses and increasing the enemy level. Now, the main reason why people are going to be running Leciel Exploration at all is because of the new augment. As we can see here, the new augment capsule, lowest hell finale, can be created in the item lab exchange enhancement materials. And in order to make this, you need Bastia capsules. Yeah, very based. In order to get the Bastia capsules, you have to obtain them from Leciel Exploration. So you need 50 of them. And I'm assuming that you're only going to get one of these Bastia capsules per run of Leciel Exploration. So that's going to be 50 runs of Leciel Exploration to make one of these lowest hell finales. Now, luckily, these Bastia capsules also drop in the limited time urgent quest. So remember that Griffin boss that I absolutely hate? I'm gonna run the urgent quest because it's gonna drop the Bastia capsules, and I'm assuming that it's gonna drop between 1 to 3 of the Bastia capsules, or maybe even 1 to 5 every time you run the UQ. So even though I do not like the UQ very much, we're gonna have to suck it up and we're gonna have to do it. And I guarantee you, in the first week, these lowest hell finales are gonna be selling like crazy. Because no one in their right mind, especially the whales, are going to think, hey, farming 150 Leciel Exploration runs is going to be so fun. No one's going to think like that. People are going to be like, hell no, I will drop 100 million Meseta for one of these lowest hell finales. Save me the pain and suffering, you know? And that's literally how a lot of people, especially by free-to-play players, that's how you're going to make your money. So basically, once this Leciel Exploration update kicks in on the 17th of September, just drop everything and just farm here like crazy. Lock in. And then once the UQ pops up, you run the UQ. And then once that's over, you come back to Leciel Exploration. And whoever can make the lowest hell finale first, you're going to make the most money. Basically, aim for selling a bunch of these on the first 2 days. That's when you're going to be making the most amount of money, because there's going to be no supply and there's going to be very high demand, because everyone has already bought out like their Lux hell finale, their Magis hell finales, but nobody has the Bastia capsules because that won't be available until the update kicks in. And last but not least is, of course, the collaboration. Atelier Yumia is here, and yeah. Honestly, they don't have the motorbike, so I'm pretty sad that there's no motorbike. But, you know, there's Yumia. I'm getting Yumia. I like Yumia. She's got some really nice poses that show off her buttocks. And, very nice. Now, for my friends who like Japanese themes or like yukatas, kimonos, and stuff like that, they are bringing back a revival scratch on the 17th, where it's called the Opulent Kimono Revival. So yeah, there are going to be some reruns of some kimonos as well as some Japanese themed cosmetics. So if you do like that style, you might want to look into it. But keep in mind that this is a rerun. It's a revival scratch. So all of the items already exist. They're just coming back again.
Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.